Greetings, everyone, and thank you for checking out my channel. When it comes to trading, you need something that is going to be reliable and stable, especially in these conditions. This is why I am focusing on pattern trading because it's the closest thing to math, and math does not lie. So when you can use geometry in Forex, you have a very effective strategy, even in these very volatile times, because math is really effective when it comes to trading. So many indicators and strategies that are very popular are not working because of how the market is moving. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys tons of examples on how to use wedge and triangle patterns, as well as the cheat sheets that I use to help me spot these patterns as well. All right, so let's look into some of these examples. Okay, so the first example that I want to look at is going to be a rising wedge. That's going to be this pattern right here. And please note that wedge patterns or rising wedge patterns are bearish. So when you see this formation pop up, you're looking for an opportunity to sell. Now, the lower line in the rising wedge is going to be the support line, and the upper line is going to be the resistant line. So the candles in the middle represent consolidation. Okay. And in the middle, when you have this consolidation, the volumes tend to be pretty low. So as soon as you see the breakout, that's when you see an increase on the volume and you see that big move that you're looking for. So I tend to stay away from buying and selling as the pattern is forming because you'll just be playing games for quite a while before the real move happens. Okay, and another thing to keep in mind, wedge patterns tend to be a change in trend, whereas triangle patterns tend to be a continuation of the trend. So we'll see a couple examples of that in this video. All right. And I use the 15-minute time frame, and I find that to be very effective. All right. So we see this nice breakout, and then it falls into a falling wedge. So again, we have a change in trend. So when you see this breakout in the falling wedge, now you're looking for an opportunity to buy. And if you had bought there, you would have had a very nice trade. And this goes back into the example of what I mentioned before, how triangle patterns are continuations of the trend. So we have an expanding triangle pattern. So even though we have this huge drop, because this is a bullish expanding triangle, it's a continuation of the bullish change in trend that we saw from the falling wedge. So this is really fascinating because when you use these patterns in your trading, you can kind of see the story and you can follow along and have a really good idea as to what is going to happen next. Now, one thing to keep in mind when it comes to triangle patterns is that they are strong moves. So if you're wondering, okay, you know what, where should I be taking profit? Well, in a triangle pattern, especially a bullish one, you should be looking to take profit at the nearest resistance. So you can see here, I have my resistant line, and I have my support line. So in this situation right here, I would have had a buy, and then I would have been looking to take profit right here at resistance. And this is because since it's not a wedge pattern, most likely this move is not going to be strong enough to push through the resistance. And you can see that this area of resistance was tested several times. So, you would have most likely closed your trade here, and then you would have waited for another pattern to form. Um, Now, there's probably a pattern in here, but I try to keep my charts pretty clean. Uh, with this approach, what I have found is that I can usually have about 3 to 5 setups throughout the day. And I think that's more than enough, at least in my case. All right. Now, another good one that I really like is descending triangles. Okay. So, with descending triangles, one of the things that you'll notice is the support line in the descending triangle usually ends up becoming a future area of resistance. So we can see here the first opportunity to sell was right here. So you would have sold here. And just like I mentioned before, because this is a triangle, our area to take profit is going to be the support zone since we're selling. So, I mean, look what happened. We had a nice breakout, and then the price went straight to the support area, and then it popped back up. Now, in this situation right here, we have a symmetrical triangle that formed. So we went straight from a descending triangle straight into a symmetrical triangle. And once we saw the breakout right here, we would have been looking for a buy. And this was such a neat setup because it broke out and went straight back into the descending triangle. So when it went back into the descending triangle, it did not break the area of resistance. So that's how we know this descending triangle is still intact. So in this case, all we're going to do is wait for the breakout to happen. And then right here, we see the breakout happen. And it made another very strong move. And if you sold from here, you would have had a very nice trade. All right. And it went straight into another descending triangle as well, which gave you another opportunity to sell. So just like we see a lower area of resistance from the supporting line of the descending triangle, guess what? This line right here is showing us another lower line for resistance. So we had the breakout right here, which is where you would have sold from. And then even when the price shot back up, it shot right back up to this area of resistance. So for those of you who like to trade off of support and resistance, if you're trying to understand, like, you know what, will my resistance be broken this time? Will my support zone be broken this time? Well, the odds are if it's a triangle pattern, no, it's not going to be broken. But if it's a wedge pattern, the odds are it will be broken. So I find this to be very helpful in that regard. And, just keep in mind, math does not lie. So, if you want to know how to use geometry and trading, well, this right here is how you do so. All right. Um, so a couple of things to keep in mind. The volume increases on the breakout. So if you find yourself in these periods where the market really isn't moving, that's most likely because the pattern is still forming. And it's going to take until the candles break the resistance or support from the triangle or wedge, and then those volumes are going to increase and make the real move. All right. And I want to close this video out with giving you guys some of the cheat sheets that I use. So feel free to screenshot what I'm going to share with you in the next few slides. And then and save them to your computer. And I like to use them while I'm trading sometimes because it's kind of hard to keep track of all the different triangles and all the different wedges. So it helps to have cheat sheets where you can see, oh wow, you know what? That's what this is. That's what that is. And then you kind of have an idea as to what you should already be looking for. All right. Um, with that being said, this is my approach and way of dealing with the current market conditions. With all the volatility going on right now, it's very difficult to trade with any other strategy. A lot of indicators and bots and different strategies that are very popular that used to be very effective just really aren't working that well in these current conditions. So I strongly recommend giving this a shot. It does require a little bit of patience, but keep in mind, wedge and triangle patterns are 80 to 90% accurate, meaning if you see a descending triangle, it's going to play out the way it should 80 to 90% of the time. And the cool thing is, let's just say, for example, there's a rejection. So we have a descending triangle right here, right? So let's just say, for example, the candles broke through the resistance. That would be part of the 10 to 20% of the time where the pattern fails. But because you understand how patterns work, if the candles broke this line, then you would just look for buys. So even though it's only 80 to 90% accurate, it's technically 100% accurate because if the pattern fails, then you know exactly what to do next, which I find extremely powerful. All right. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys with a bunch of, or not a bunch, but a few cheat sheets. And if you have questions, if you want to join my program, this right here is my website. You can talk to me on Facebook Messenger. You can send me emails and important dates. Our main season for trading is from August through May. So the June and July conditions really aren't the best for trading. So I like to look at the month of July as preparation because for me, I need to make my money from August through November because that's going to determine what type of holidays I'm going to have and what type of Christmas I'm going to have and any vacations I'm going to be able to take. And then from January through May determines what type of summer I'm going to have. So if you guys see me very active on YouTube, that's a sign that I probably didn't have a really good year and I'm trying to make a lot of money to cover that. So if you don't hear from me, that's usually because I did very well from August to May and I'm spending a lot of time taking vacations and I'm not thinking about trading so much, which is also why I haven't been so active on YouTube. Because I've been enjoying the summer. All right. And because I want to keep enjoying the summer and keep the life that I have, this is why I take a lot of time to educate, do research, and always find ways to improve my skills. I never want to be comfortable or feel like I know everything. And that's why I always find ways to keep learning so that I keep growing. All right. With that being said, thank you for checking out this video. And I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. All right. Take care and have a great day.